back tomorrow at noon for training.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Give it up!
There's only one Razorback.
Uncle Tommy loves the Razorbacks.
Razorback fans, let's stand up and call those.
107 down.
This one belongs to the Razorbacks. Ball's on the ground, picked up by Colin. Alex has got room.
Everybody will pick through.
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Just got a text from JT in Laurel, Mississippi on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Peyton Holt has been signed by the Cincinnati Regs organization from the Kansas City Monarchs. The former Greenwood Bulldog and Arkansas Razorback looks like he's hopefully on his way to the majors at some point.
Well, it's good to get back in the system. So gonna be with the Reds. So it gives you another team to root for.
Arkansas Fayetteville Regional this upcoming weekend. Creighton, Kansas, and North Dakota State, the teams ahead. Dave Van Horn, again, talking about a few of the teams this weekend. Here's what he said about one of them squads, the Blue Jays.
You know, the team you can't look past is Creighton. They got in over a couple of teams, were projected to possibly get in because they beat them straight up. They've always played great defense. They've always pitched well, and they don't beat themselves. And, it's their head coach's last year. He's retiring this year, and I'm sure they're going to play extremely hard.
And that's an element I think is an interesting part of all this, being that their head coach is going to retire at the end of the season. How about Kansas in postseason with you again? Football, basketball, now baseball, basketball the last few years. So just thought that was also kind of an interesting thing. You're playing the Jayhawks in postseason, close in proximity.
Coincidence, but but you knew, and Coach Van Horn talked about it in the press conference, that you kind of knew what teams were coming because when they use the word regional, they do mean regional, and they generally don't travel teams other than maybe one in a region very far. So, I mean, a Big 12 team that was playing pretty good was a high likelihood, and Kansas fit that bill.
There's plenty to watch this weekend. You had the SEC tournament in Hoover, Alabama, which we were down there for. Also super regionals in softball. Of course, the Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals going on. I watched most of Game 2 and all of Game 3. Did you guys get a chance to watch the softball game this weekend?
Did, particularly with all the rain we had going on, wasn't much outdoor stuff I could do. The golf course was soaked. So, we watched a lot.
Kind of a bummer.
Disappointing to see that first inning in Game 3 get so sideways and Ole Miss hang a crooked number. Then you come back. You got to run in the second. You fought your way back. You tied it only to, 7-4, I believe, the final in Game 3. So pretty disappointing finish to the season.
Courtney Deifel after the game.
Just heartbroken for this group. Congratulate Ole Miss. But I want to focus on this group. The heart and the fight and the character that they showed throughout the year. This group was an absolute blast. Just absolutely enjoyable. Probably the most enjoyable year of coaching I've had.
So she's very emotional for obvious reasons, being that their team just played their final game. They just hadn't figured it out yet. Hadn't gotten over that hump. And it's like you go back and forth on this, right? Because it's hard to say that with the player of the year in the SEC, being that they made another super regional and they had this season, I think it's either tied or second most in program history in softball wins. But as you continue to have success, the expectations change. And so, as I was just kind of sitting there watching Game 3, I went back and forth on this. How do you not justify, but what do you make of what happened? Ultimately, because it's like, you can't say that this was because you have to parlay the postseason with the regular season. And they were expected to advance, right?
I think yes, and I think that's a reasonable expectation. I think we look at what baseball has done for the better part of 20 years, and we expect the same thing out of softball, and it's not the same thing. It's not the same sport. It's not. I know it's a stick and a ball, and there's 3 bases and a home plate. But, there's a lot of differences in how they go about it. So I think we look at what Dave Van Horn has done, and we expect the same kind of run to their Omaha, which is Oklahoma City. And, they just haven't found a way. What it is, I don't know. I enjoy, watching that late in the year, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've watched 25 or 30 games all year and that I've got the answer. And there's a lot of people that think they have the answer that have watched about as many games as we've watched, which is been the important ones down the stretch, the SEC tournament, maybe a series or two. But let's be honest. How much did we pay attention in the regular season? Yeah, we read the stories, we read the headlines, we got the interesting moments, but we can't all pile in here in the regional and super regional and now act like we're, experts on this team.
And that's an element that needs to be added in. Like you just said, I'll put my hand up. I've watched scores, the tail end of the season. I would watch games, but not the full season. So just hopefully at some point, I know that was painful for a lot of players and that staff to get over the hump on that.
But here's something very important that did happen, win or lose. And if they'd have won, it'd have been even greater. How many more people were brought to the table this weekend? Brought to the softball table that will now pay more attention to the regular season. I think if there was a way to get more people in to share back reserved seats, and, the berm's fine. I haven't sat out there. I haven't been to a softball game there, be honest with you. But I've watched several, and that ballpark's fairly full. If they can figure out a way to expand and get more people to the table, the popularity of this sport will grow even more. It's becoming very popular, but I don't think it's even close to reaching its ceiling. And what they need is, like you're talking about, how do you break through to the next level? How do you get to Oklahoma City? And if they do, I think you'll see this sport really explode.
All right, that is your Hog Update here on a Tuesday. It's brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8
All right, got our Morning Rush Daily Question coming up. We still got a lot to react to or involving the softball team, baseball team, Carter Knox, the Western and Eastern Conference Finals in basketball in the NBA. Who's going to be in the finals coming up here in about a week or so. But for now, we talked to our friend David Rath of Rath Mitsubishi this morning. David, I know Tommy was talking about it exploding and getting through. I know we had some hail explosions just a week or so ago in Northwest Arkansas. And I know you guys are trying to get rid of your inventory right now. We got a hail sale going on at Rath Mitsubishi.
It's like we're on an every 3-year rotation with this stuff, dude. But yeah, it's a heck of a storm, blew through. Anybody that lives, anywhere near us, this vicinity of Springdale probably got affected too. Whether I saw a lot of trees beat up and cars and all kinds of stuff. So, we got fewer than 100 cars on the ground that are still left that were affected by that. And we got some pretty big discounts on those right now. So, I think the biggest one I saw when I was kind of coming through it yesterday was about $8,900 back of retail value on one of our trucks we've got out here. So it's a really good opportunity for folks to take advantage of big savings on, some hail discounted inventory. If you've got hail damage on your vehicle, whether you want to trade it or keep it, we can kind of help you with that too. We can either help you get started on your claim, and maybe we can get that vehicle fixed a little cheaper than what insurance thinks you can. You can save you a little bit of money on put that toward another vehicle. Or if you're going to keep your vehicle, we've got these on-site guys that are working on all my stuff, and they're doing public vehicles as well, so they can do free estimates. On-site hail repair, they'll work with your insurance, give you an estimate that your insurance can use and all that good stuff. So we can help you out on a lot of different angles on that, but it's a great time for folks to come out and, save a little bit one way or the other.
All right, that is Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. And also you can stop by and see David at Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith and the Mighty Key Car Care Center at both locations to help you get on the road today. I know I've got some brake stuff I've got to get through after this Hoover trip. David, good. Have a good rest of your week, man. We'll talk next week, okay?
I appreciate it, man. You guys too.
All right, when we come back here on the Morning Rush, you got a good daily question queued up? Okay. Good one. Right up. You mentioned something there, weather. We didn't really get a chance to take advantage of Memorial Day weekend.
No, we didn't really.
And that's something I know that people were hoping to do, or whether you went to the lake or anything else, but not a great weekend of weather here in the natural state. Morning Rush continues on next here on a Tuesday.
I only came here to do 2 things, man. Kick some ass and drink some beer. Looks like we're almost out of beer.
This is the Morning Rush.
I'm ignorant when it comes to a lot of topics. Thankfully, I listened to my friend's advice on the housing market and called Jeff Marks at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Jeff made the process smoother than Mamaw's gravy.
Ty, you got to throw in some homemade biscuits with that gravy and a great local real estate professional to guide you down the right path. One of the keys is knowing what to do and certainly what not to do.
You communicated and were transparent throughout the process.
Ty, like you, anyone can call me, Jeff Marks, at 479-414-1193. For your big decisions, I have simple solutions.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. If you're looking for the best used car your money can buy, check out our great selection of road-ready certified vehicles with warranty. If you're trading or selling your car, let us give you a free second opinion and leave with a check in your hand. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center. Plus, follow us on Facebook for special offers and fun contests. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, Fort Smith.
Do you love cooking and being a part of a great team? Hey, it's Ty Richardson, and I was talking to Linda Newmeyer the other day. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, Newmeyer's Rib Room, and Newmeyer's Whippoorwill are hiring kitchen staff. Stop by any of the 3 restaurants in downtown Fort Smith. I used to work at a pizza place back in the day. Maybe I'd give it a shot. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the Whippoorwill, and Rib Room. Apply today and join the Newmeyer family.
You're hired. Come back tomorrow at noon for training.
The Old Fort Days Rodeo begins Memorial Day, and Jelco Outdoors is ready to get you and the family ready for the largest sporting event of the year in the River Valley. Save up to $30 off on select Western boots by Ariat, Durango, Justin, or Watson, Tony Lama, and Twisted X. Buy 2 pair of Ariat or Wrangler jeans and get a 3rd pair free. Plus, receive an Old Fort Days ball cap free with purchase. Jelco Outdoors, the Old Fort Days official merchandise store. Get ready for the rodeo at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
This is Dusty Waymeyer with Forge and Fire Waterworks. I've spent 17 years in the pool and fireplace industry, and I'd love the opportunity to get your pool ready for the summer. Mark and Dreama Christ will vouch for me. They're ready for barbecue and outdoor lounging already.
Forged and Fire Waterworks gets a 5-star rating from the Chris.
We clean your filters free at every startup and closing. The standard opening is just $200. 479-551-4262. Forged and Fire Waterworks, setting a new standard in the pool and fireplace business.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
Is your DIY website killing your business and robbing your time? Modular Orange specializes in building professional custom websites for service businesses just like yours for just $95 a month. That's right, a high-performance website for only $95 a month with no upfront costs. There's a reason. Lawyers, dentists, accountants, counselors, plumbers, electricians, and more all trust Modular Orange to build their online presence. Take your time back to focus on what you do best. Let the professionals at Modular Orange handle your website. Visit modularorange.com today. That's modularorange.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Time for the Carpat Social Morning Rush Daily Question.
All right, you men. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer to the best of your ability.
It's going to be a quick answer to an incredibly terrible, long question.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Check out Nate and Christian's Place in Lowell online at carpatsocial.com.
All right, today's Morning Rush Daily Question designed to kind of get the pulse of what you guys out there are thinking after a kind of a dreary, wet, rainy weekend on a holiday weekend, watching Arkansas exit early in Hoover, watching softball come up short. Are you feeling any different going into this weekend with the regionals? Do you have any different feeling about the postseason? About Arkansas getting to Omaha? Has your North Star moved at all on this postseason and this baseball team? Lewis Automotive Group hotline open, 877-377-6963. Ty, you were in Hoover. You watched the team in person. You feel any differently about this team's ability to get to Omaha based on what you've seen and kind of how the weekend went?
I think the scariest element, if you want to look at this realistically, is the starting pitching. When Dave was asked yesterday about that starting pitching, this
Positive for me today.
Hold on, I have the clip. I'll find it in just a sec. But he talked about, again, not like they're not going to reveal it, but to me, like Root doesn't have a good outing against Ole Miss, and I'd say I need to clarify that he had some things in the field, like Aloy should have turned a double play. It ended up being
5 outs in the first inning.
Yeah, and it was a situation where some things go for him that he gets out, and he's probably pitching a lot more in Hoover than he did in that game. But he had a really good outing.
Two botched double plays.
Yeah, really good outing against Texas. Not so much against Tennessee. So like you're going back and forth because he's supposed to be your ace, your alpha, and they've got a good bullpen. I mean, there's a lot of guys in that bullpen that you really like, but you just don't know how many innings you're going to get from your starting pitching. Gage Wood had apparently, I think, a bullpen session this past weekend. Didn't pitch this past weekend though in Hoover. So I think that's the biggest concern. That is what I think is what people are cautious about when it comes to getting to Omaha.
I still think, I hate to say this weekend is a formality because we have stubbed our toe in the regionals before, and there will be an SEC team hosting. You don't want it to be you. That probably will. I mean, that's baseball. That's the odds.
Bruce seems to think it's
Bruce seems to think it, but you can't be the 3 seed and stub your toe in the. I feel good about it going into the super regional. Then it's just you can't have those innings like you had in the first against Ole Miss. That defensively you have a couple of gaffes that set you back and put you in a hole that you can't get out of. So I'm with you. Starting pitching's got to be better, but you're accurate in what you said. Root. It wasn't all on Root on Friday against Ole Miss.
No. So that's what would make me less. Softball, bad weather. I think it's more the last 2 years.
You kind of get all that dark cloud hanging over your head that makes you maybe lean the wrong way. But I still think this team is a team that wins the regional. How do you even assess the super regional? I mean, you can think about Tennessee, but I still think this is a team that can go to Omaha. And then from there, it's a crapshoot. You could have 5, maybe 6 teams in Omaha from the SEC.
I got to look at the because I don't have the regionals paired with the regionals in front of me. I want to know what the maximum number actually is to make Omaha and the setup and everything else. I've got the number of teams and I know who's playing what in the SEC. 13 SEC teams, 8 regional sites.
Well, it could be 6. I know because you got 6 of the top 8 national seeds. But that means looking at the bracket, we know 6 of the 8 seeds are SEC, right? So yeah, I mean
at least 6.
Yeah, you could have it. So you start with that number and go from there.
So on the regional host, Ole Miss, we talked about the impact that they had beating Arkansas and advancing to the championship. Tennessee obviously impacted in a positive way this weekend. I said this earlier, and I want to say it. I want to reiterate it. I think that the approach for the SEC tournament is going to be taken. Not that it hasn't been taken seriously in the past, but based on what just played out this year, I think more that Jackson Fayetteville texting, he thinks that 8 SEC teams can make it to Omaha, depending on the setup and everything else.
Bradley, but you know that 6 of the 8 national seeds are SEC, so start there. 6 could be hosting in the postseason. In the super regional.
Caleb and Painburn saying, I'm not concerned with what we've seen. We've seen elite pitching for all 3 months. We aren't going to see. Excuse me. I am concerned that we haven't seen elite pitching for 3 months. We aren't going to see elite pitching this weekend. I guess he's talking about the SEC competition that you've had to go up against. So when it Kansas, Creighton, and North Dakota State, that's what he feels like. But as you just said, like it was just taken. It was just taken as, they're going to get by the regional. What's the super regional look like next weekend? The last 2 years. And they got bounced. And they got bounced by SEMO last year. So,
question to me this week, and we can talk more about this as the week rolls on. Dave didn't want to reveal the rotation for this weekend. Don't blame him.
Yeah, we pretty much know who we're going to pitch, but we're not going to announce it yet.
Yeah. So do you mess with the schedule? Do you quote unquote pitch off to save Root for a Saturday night game? But then where does that leave you going into the next week where I don't think it's determined yet which super regionals start Saturday and which start on Friday. Chance you wouldn't start till Saturday. I guess a 50-50 shot on that. But the reality is you're in a routine, you're in a groove. But would you rather have Root? Is there enough difference right now between Gage Wood and Zach Root to say, hey, we gotta pitch this guy? You don't exactly have what I would call the staff ace, the number one at this point. There's been moments where Root's pitched like that, but it's been a 3-week period where he's not.
I would be very surprised if he did not start Friday. And I guess Well,
I don't think there's enough difference.
Do you remember? Didn't Hagan start against K-State last year? Right?
I believe that.
And then he got bounced by SEMO that next day. I want to say that's right.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember that correctly. That's again. There's a lot that's happened between now and then. So maybe he does pitch off, and that was more of you felt like you could win game 1 and you got a better chance to game 2.
It's kind of like being on the par 5, where hey, I'm just right in that zone where I could go for it in 2, but I got to go over the water, and you've known that hey, I've done this 20 times, and 18 of them I end up in the water, but that's those 2 where it's worked out fine, where you had a little gust of wind behind you that makes you want to try it again. But it seems like when you pitch off, it doesn't work out in your favor more so than it does. Put the head cover back in the bag and take the 6-iron and lay up is what you probably should do here and stay on track.
JT in Hot Springs say, I do not expect us to win this weekend. If they do, I'll be happy. If they don't, I'll be
Don't expect to win this weekend?
That's what he said.
Okay. All right, that's your Morning Rush Daily Question. It's brought to you by Cart Pass Social.
All right, Cart Pass Social, #1 place for indoor golf. They're coming up on their 1-year anniversary, June 12th through the 14th. A lot of things going on.
Father's Day weekend, too.
Father's Day weekend, Cart Pass Social After Dark, College World Series party. Hopefully, Arkansas will be a part of that College World Series opening ceremony and everything else that's going on that weekend. Again, Christian and Nate put a lot of time, effort, and energy into the #1 indoor golf facility in all of Arkansas. Over 1,000 different courses you can play. Go to cartpasssocial.com or come by and see him. 122 Grant Place in Lowell. It's always BYOB at Cart Pass Social.
All right, couple things. Download the Hit That Line Now app. It's powered by Taco Bell. If you're craving something cheesy, saucy, or crunchy, Taco Bell has you covered. We'll keep you up to date on the postseason right here on ESPN Arkansas and the Hit That Line and hitthatline.com and the Hit That Line Now app. If you're looking for tickets for this weekend, I know that those are going out to the people that had regular season tickets. I would imagine there was a high percentage of those that took those for the postseason. There will be tickets that you can find on the resale marketplace. SeatGeek.com is where we send everybody. That's the official resale marketplace of the Razorbacks. You can also go to ArkansasRazorbacks.com for any available tickets and also find out about football tickets and signing up for those as well. And we've had a few texts and some calls this morning already about places to stay. The Inn at the Mill. Check with them. They got some rooms available. 479-443-1800 is their number. So if you're wanting to come over for baseball, stay Friday night, stay Saturday night, they've got some rooms right now, but you better call this morning. 479-443-1800 for the Inn at the Mill. It's at the Johnson exit, about 10 minutes from the ballpark. The place to stay in Northwest Arkansas.
All right, so the setup for this weekend here in Fayetteville, Arkansas will play North Dakota State at 2 o'clock on Friday. Kansas and Crane will play at 7. If Arkansas wins, they'll play at 8 o'clock on Saturday. If they lose that game 1, they'll play at 2 o'clock on Saturday. And then
that'll be an elimination game.
So. We'll see about that Sunday setup and for everything else. But
you want to play early, late, and be done. What you really, that's the goal. Play 3, be out of there.
Interesting. I don't know. Did you watch the selection show thing yesterday at 11 o'clock on ESPN2? Did you listen?
I did not watch live. I did watch some of the stuff on SEC Now.
Again, they talked about it on the broadcast, and I thought this was an interesting point that was made.
We know the atmosphere up on Walker is going to be electric. That's always the case. The Aloy brothers, as you mentioned, Charles Davalon, really have changed the look of this offense. They always pitch. This might be the most complete team in this NCAA tournament.
So that's Mike Rooney, ESPN D1 Baseball.
Oh boy,
you heard Todd.
Rat poison.
Yeah,
oh boy,
you heard Todd Walker say that on these on these airwaves and also on the SEC network as well. And I've heard that when you look at a team that's broken the home run record, you look at being where they are statistically in fielding and pitching. And yes, we were just kind of talking about the starting pitching, maybe still questioning whether Zach Root's going to start Friday night, what Dave does and everything else. You asked about a confidence level. How should you be feeling heading into this weekend, being where you finished in the SEC second overall? I realize the last 2 years and maybe
play like it. Go out there and win 3. Well, you shouldn't be messing with the losers bracket at all. Don't beat yourself. Arkansas, no offense to Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is a good team that made it to the finals. I'm not taking anything away from. Did Arkansas beat themselves in the first inning of that game? They couldn't overcome their own mistake and Ole Miss had something to do with that. But you can't give a team 5 outs in an inning. Now you might be able to get away with that with North Dakota State. maybe with Kansas, but you're not going to survive long doing those things. Don't beat yourself. That's my expectation for this weekend. Play clean ball.
By the way, a couple props I want to divvy out this morning. Those Ole Miss kids that collided the left and center fielder, that's one of the most egregious things I've ever seen on a baseball field. It was just rough.
Agreed.
And then the other being that, how about Jace Laviolette trying to play with that cast? If you watch him, he played. I just assumed, we were talking about it on Friday. It's like, all right, this dude's in the cast. There's no way he plays. He played. He got asked about it. It's like, yeah, I'm just trying to win for the team. It's like, golly Moses. I'm sitting here thinking, man, if I have like a sore knee, I don't want to play basketball or anything. This kid's like got to bust it up. What do you have? Wrist, hand,
Knuckles,
whatever it was.
right there. Hit him on the hand. A lot of bones in the hand, too.
Baseball is a contact sport, to decide what some people tell you.
And we're almost to the end of May. If you apply for the homestead tax credit, you can save $425 on your property taxes just by applying. Simply call the Sebastian County Assessor's Office for details. That's Zach Johnson's office, 479-784-1516. Applications must be completed by the end of May for your 2024 property taxes. So apply for your home and up to 1 acre of land. That's the homestead tax credit with the Sebastian County Assessor's Office. Go to SebastianCountyAR.gov for more details. That's SebastianCountyAR.gov.
Hour 2 coming up. Tom Murphy said to join us. His reaction from Arkansas and their region this weekend upcoming in Fayetteville, and softball and more when he joins us next.
Largemouth bass will be spawning soon at ponds and lakes all over Arkansas and Oklahoma. One of the best lures to catch them on at this time is the famous Yum Dinger. We make them by the truckloads in Fort Smith in 3, 4, 5, and 6-inch sizes, and they are in tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the U.S. and all over the world. Wacky rigging the 5-inch model can't be beat for spawning bass. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Yum Dinger.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Mega Millions now has better odds, bigger prizes, and the highest starting jackpot in America. Top prizes start at $50 million and increase rapidly until someone wins. What else is new? How about no more break-even prizes? Win anywhere from 2 to 10 times your bet. And the multiplier? It's no longer an add-on. Mega Millions is always $5 per play, bells and whistles included. Play today in stores or on the go. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for problem gambling helpline.
Protect what matters most with the Fenceman. From heavy-duty security fencing to powered automatic gates, the Fenceman's got Fort Smith covered. The Fenceman has served the Fort Smith area for over 40 years. Custom built and built to last. Free quotes, financing for 18 months. When it comes to security fencing, nobody builds it better than the Fenceman. Call 479-782-3936 or visit thefencemanAR.com. The Fenceman. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is The Morning Rush.
Ignorant when it comes to a lot of topics. Thankfully, I listened to my friend's advice on the housing market and called Jeff Marks at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Jeff made the process smoother than Mama's gravy.
Ty, you got to throw in some homemade biscuits with that gravy and a great local real estate professional to guide you down the right path. One of the keys is knowing what to do and certainly what not to do.
You communicated and were transparent throughout the process.
Ty, like you, anyone can call me, Jeff Marks, at 479-414-1193. For your big decisions, I have simple solutions.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Drink responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Up to $10,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off. Or lease the all-new 2025 GMC Hummer EV with hands-free driving assistance and go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds for as low as $900 a month. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
The Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell.
When your carpets, upholstery, and floors look dirty and stained, call your local Service Master Clean at 646-4087. Service Master Clean is an industry leader and can remove the toughest stains from your home or office. And they back their work with a satisfaction guarantee. Eliminate dirt and grime from your carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate floors. Call your local Service Master Clean, 479-646-4087. That's 646-4087 or online at servicemasterpc.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, showers and a chance of thunderstorms or high temperatures this afternoon will be into the low 70s north, upper 70s south. Later on tonight, we will see clouds, a chance of showers, and a few storms. Our overnight lows will drop down mid to upper 50s, and Wednesday, sunshine mid to upper 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 95 days.
Yeah, you got to feel good about yourself at the end of the season, and your players really need to want to be here. There's a lot going on, and you just have to make sure the guys feel good about being here. And if they do, you got a shot.
One more region. We head to Arkansas, Bob Walker Stadium. Dave Van Horn hasn't won a national title yet. You feel like it's only a matter of time. More than 900 wins. They're hosting a regional for the 12th time. Taking on North Dakota State. Who else is there? Jays win the Big East tournament, and they are in. And they will face, why not, the Kansas Jayhawks.
We know the atmosphere at Bob Walker is going to be electric. That's always the case. The Alloy brothers, as you mentioned, Charles Davalon, really have changed the look of this offense. They always pitch. This might be the most complete team in this NCAA tournament.
Live from the Busch Light Studios, this is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
So the SEC got a whopping 13 teams in the NCAA tournament. Sounds like basketball. 8 teams will be hosting regionals this week, including your Arkansas Razorbacks, as they will take on the North Dakota State Bison this Friday at 2 o'clock. It's on, of course, most of these stations, hitthatline.com or Hit That Line Now app powered by Taco Bell. ESPN Plus is the television destination for this weekend. They haven't announced what's going to be on Saturday and Sunday as well. But you know your setup. You got it yesterday. Bad weather this weekend, unfortunately. I know a lot of people wanted to travel and stuff. You didn't get a chance to maybe be outside as much as you typically are accustomed to on Memorial Day weekend.
And you're still sloshing around out there. Hey, it makes it a great day for Taco Tuesday. Joe's Grill and Cantina, $1 tacos all day today. I was at Joe's over the weekend. Saturday just kind of felt like a few enchiladas, and kids wanted some fajitas. So Joe's, here we came, and it was a fantastic meal at Joe's. So you're stopping in today, get $1 tacos, Kids Day and our Kids Night tomorrow, then the Throwback Thursday. They'll do that on Thursdays. They bring back the old Cuco's platters. I didn't go the endless enchiladas on Saturday, but they had that available, Ty, where you for $15 could have done the all you can eat enchiladas. And I just had a couple cheese enchiladas. They're homemade salsa that's made fresh every day. It was an awesome trip. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Come for the food, stay for the fun. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps, and they'll have the games on the TVs this weekend too. So that'd be a good place to stop and watch the games at Joe's.
All right, so let's hear about your first opponent this weekend.
They have an older team. I was informed that they have 10 seniors on their team. A lot of times that's what it takes when you're a mid-major to be really successful at all levels, is to have those older kids. They won the tournament up there, beat Oral Roberts, and obviously Oral Roberts has had a pretty good run over the years of going to regional. So I'm sure that they're going to be a solid team.
That's your, again, first opponent this upcoming weekend. Kansas, Creighton, another Big 12 setup. We talked about Kansas being the team, another Big 12 team to be able to face Kansas State and TCU here in recent years from a regionality standpoint. Any surprises from yesterday and just the setup? And I think we kind of talked about earlier, Bruce, Tennessee and Ole Miss being regional seeds, being in the top 16.
Maybe Vanderbilt being as high as they were might have been a surprise. We talked about that earlier, that obviously the way to the SEC tournament, but just go investigate the RPI. Just look at the RPI, and if you want to figure out why Vanderbilt's up there, there's your answer, too. They were number one in the RPI, so it's kind of hard to deny them a top 4 seed, and they got it. So, yeah, that might be maybe the one thing that surprised some people would be Vanderbilt and their placement after winning the SEC tournament.
Well, we're coming off, again, an extended weekend. Want to remind, I guess, when we talk about Memorial Day, we talk about going to the lake, we talk about cooking burgers, brats, everything else. Obviously, we want to remember every soldier that has sacrificed their lives in honor of this country and being and making it what it was. I know that's why we actually celebrate. Sometimes things get lost in translation when it comes to the holidays themselves. So for those that have served, particularly the ones that have lost family members or friends of any sorts, just want to take time to remember all those that have contributed to our country in the armed forces. All right, let's talk to our buddy Tom Murphy. I know he's got plenty to react to over the weekend as he joins us now.
What they do here in Hoover, I don't think it affects. I mean, I think you're probably right in the realm of 3, 4, and if they win a couple games, it could be 2. But I don't think a whole lot that happens in Alabama is going to affect where the Razorbacks wind up.
Tom Murphy is brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
So one and done in Hoover, Tom. Ole Miss advances to the finals, but ultimately falls to Vanderbilt. We've talked about the pitching. I'm pretty sure you were the one that asked Dave Van Horn yesterday about that rotation. Not going to be revealed until later on this week. Just kind of your reaction to Arkansas's 5-2 loss against Ole Miss, and kind of how they ended the season heading into postseason.
Yeah, well, it's been kind of a common theme in recent years when they've been eliminated, is that they haven't hit enough. You think back to their super regional against NC State, they scored 20-something runs in the first game, you blow them out, and then they lose two 1-run games where they just didn't get enough done offensively. And then the same holds true for the games where they were eliminated or put in the losers bracket by TCU and Kansas State. Just didn't get enough done, and the pitching. Hagen Smith got rocked around by both of those teams. So I think it's incumbent upon these Razorbacks to try to relax and do what they do offensively. Get on base, drive people in, because Ole Miss really shut them down. We haven't seen them an extended period after the inside the park home run where they just weren't getting many people on base for several innings. So to me, that's the biggest key. They're pitching. I don't know if they're going to pitch off and maybe try to throw Gage Wood in game 1 and and then maybe throw Zach Root in game 2. I don't know. It's probably a matter of, what they think the matchups might look like. So, obviously you can't overlook game 1 against North Dakota State. I'm doing some research on them right now. They got some good pitching, threw well in the Summit League tournament, and but they're at home, and I think that the little albatross of not being able to get out of their home regional the last 2 years is probably a big motivating factor for them this time around.
Yeah, you think about the recent history. So you mentioned last year before, 22, they're in Stillwater and Chapel Hill. 21, that you referenced that NC State game. 20's COVID. And the last time they've actually gone to Omaha was through their home ballpark was 2019 when they defeated Ole Miss to advance to the College World Series. What do you think about, Tom, if they do advance past this weekend, having another possible SEC opponent to beat before they head to Omaha?
Yeah, exactly. And, of course, if you're Dave Van Horn and company, you can't be looking at that. But, yeah, tough route. I mean, I've seen some people complaining that Auburn got an easier route as the 5 seed matched up against the Conway, the Coastal Carolina regional. But I think Florida's in that one. So, that's not going to be a cakewalk for the Chanticleers. They just had Tennessee in here 2 weekends ago, and it was a good regional. I mean, it was a good series. They knocked Liam Doyle around a little bit, but struggled in game 1. So they would be favored just as they were in 2018 against Ole Miss and 2019 against South Carolina when they also had SEC teams come in here.
Tom Murphy with us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. He's with Whole Hog Sports and the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Vanderbilt gets the number 1 overall seed. They're number 1 in the RPI. They won the SEC tournament. Tom, is Vanderbilt now the team to beat?
Well, I heard at the top of the show, can't remember if it was Kyle Peterson or Mike, the other guy, with Mike Rooney, but basically saying it's an open tournament. I mean, I don't look at Vanderbilt and think, they look somewhat invincible. I mean, I'm surprised LSU was as far down as they were. So, in my view, a team like LSU, just as dangerous. A team like Arkansas, just as dangerous. Texas fell off of its mojo late in the year to lose the number 1 seed, but who's to say? I mean, I know they lost their ace, but they still have a deep pitching staff, and they're a solid hitting team. So. I don't know. There's a lot of SEC teams. A lot of people are hyping North Carolina. Oregon State gets a seed. I think number 8. So I don't know. I agree with it's a pretty wide open field, and Arkansas is just as set up as many of these other teams. Get through this 4-team regional, which you should, and then Kansas could they be a problem? Creighton maybe. We'll find out. But then, if Tennessee advances as they should, would be a great atmosphere next week with Dave Van Horn versus Tony Vitello, 2 programs that have kind of become good rivals in the last few years because of the dynamic.
13 SEC teams in the field. No surprise about Missouri or South Carolina. A&M had played their way in, then kind of slid down the last weekend or two, and then made a little noise in Hoover. Should A&M have been the 14th team from the SEC?
Mm-hmm. I don't think you can get swept at home by an 0-24 team and expect to make the field. If they had made to the final of the SECs, who knows? Maybe they slip in, but they just didn't. I know that they came with a lot of hype this year, and deservedly so, but the pitching didn't live up to it, and they had some injuries, and they didn't belong in the field because of what their RPI looked like. It was well down there. I think
it was 50. Yeah, end up at 50. All right, Tom, that was a clear break because Mississippi State would be kind of the last team to get in from the SEC. They were at 35. So to me, that was an obvious line of demarcation, if you will, in the SEC. You put all the teams in the top 35 of the RPI in, everybody else can stay home and watch. So I think
exactly.
That's the way it worked out. So. All right,
exactly,
Tom.
and there's some SEC teams that are 2 and 3 seeds, Alabama and Florida, that could cause real trouble at the regionals, the road regionals that they're at.
Yeah. Well, if you're as good as everyone says you are, it's time to start showing it on Friday.
That's right, and all the I saw 9 out of the 16, I think, advanced last year to the Supers, and Arkansas was not one of them. This is a year where, 6 SEC teams are hosting this weekend, and, by gosh, you need to be close to 1,000% on getting those teams through into the Supers.
Tom, appreciate it. We'll catch up with you on Thursday as we'll be on the eve of the Fayetteville Regional.
Exactly. Oh, and let me correct myself. 8 teams hosting.
Right.
And 6 in the top 8. So a lot of those should get through. Good talking to you guys.
All right, Tom Murphy, Arkansas Democrat Gazette, Whole Hog Sports with us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Our chat with Tom on Tuesdays is brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council. On a cattle ranch, calves aren't only raised by their mothers, they're raised by a community of farmers, ranchers, and veterinarians committed to giving them the healthiest, most comfortable life possible, because for cattle farmers, ranchers, and the moms of those baby calves, animal welfare is the top priority. Together, we bring more beef. It's What's for Dinner. This brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council and the beef farmers and ranchers at Arkansas, and courtesy of Beef. It's whatsfordinner.com.
Jackson and Fayetteville texting in there on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline saying he thinks they're going to make it to Omaha, and he's thinking it's a championship or bust type of year. He agrees with Mike Rooney that this is the most complete team that they've ever had. Tyler and Winslow texting in. He wants a Oregon State, Arkansas College World Series final rematch that we saw in 2018. You don't want that?
No. Because how many times, if that happens, how many times are we going to have to relive that highlight? How many times is that going to be shown on TV if that occurred? I mean, it would be one way to exercise the demon, but
I was going to say
it would take you down a very painful path leading up to, during the College World. As those teams look like they would be on a collision course, no, I don't want to see that. On repeat, on loop. They'd have that on loop.
Arkansas, I didn't see it on Bet Saracen this morning, but Arkansas and FanDuel has the best odds to win the College World Series at plus 470. LSU's at plus 650 along with Vanderbilt. Texas is at plus 900, and then Georgia and Tennessee are at plus 1,200. I was kind of surprised by that. I guess
why?
Because despite the competition, I've watched this team the last 5 or 6 weeks not have as much success as we saw early on in the season. I mean, you have to.
They swept Texas. They beat Tennessee in a series at home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, they faded quickly in Hoover, but they won 2 of their last 3 series of the regular season.
I guess you're almost just like, based on what you asked a question earlier about whether softball team is that why it's more of the last 2 years, even though they went to the College World Series and were basically a game away from the final the year before, and then how things have, again,
we get stuck in this as fans. We get stuck in this idea of what happened last year or the year before, or the trend is the way this team's going to behave, even though the roster is vastly different.
7 of 9 guys in the batting order from last year.
So why do we keep doing this? Why, when we know that's not right? What has last year got to do with this year?
Like last year, for example, Viva Loy was a good player. Now he's a great player, and he's up for the Golden Spikes, which I voted on him yesterday. Do you know you can do that? Fan vote?
No, but I guess we need to stuff the ballot box.
Stuff the ballot box. You can. I don't remember the percentage that fan vote has an impact for the Golden Spikes.
All right, get those bots working out there, folks.
You can. Whoever can do that and everything. You asked that question. I think people are just jaded. That's just how they are. That's this fan base.
But it's not a strong foundation you stand on when you're quoting last year or the year before in today's transfer portal college world. That's not just for baseball. It's for everything else. We were talking about with basketball and Carter Knox coming back and continuity, how huge it is, because how many teams are going to have continuity? It's huge when your coaching staff's intact. It's huge when you get a good part of your lineup or your starting lineup back in something, or a unit in football back.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it holds a lot of water, particularly in today's world, in today's landscape, that, the last 2 of the last 3 years, this is how it's went. If they'd won and gone to the College World Series 2 of the last 3, would that make you feel better about this year?
Absolutely.
Probably, but it would be artificial hope. Mm-hmm. You'd be basing it on nothing. Just like you're basing maybe a dark cloud on something that really has no effect on this team.
Here is my question then. What are you basing heading into postseason on?
The fact that they won 20 SEC games, and the fact that they've been fairly consistent throughout the year. They've won at home, And where are these, hopefully, next 5 games going to be played? Meaning if they win 5 in a row, where they win 3 this weekend and 2 next weekend, they're going to Omaha. They're going to play them all in their home stadium.
They've only lost 4 at home all season.
Exactly. That's what I'm basing it on. And then you get to Omaha and we'll roll the dice and see what happens. But you're playing in an environment, in a place where you have had nothing but success all year. So don't let what happened a year or two ago or what history trends tell you affect what you think this team can be. Because one has nothing to do with the other, in my opinion.
I think what you just said that could be used as a basis for the last 2 years, though. Exactly what I'm just being honest.
I don't think the last 2 years
home record. Yeah,
they won 20 SEC games this year. And I know they've done it 3 years in a row.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but
you could take. I
understand. What
I could
you're saying,
take that. The reason, because I could take you back in time a year from today and 2 years from yesterday, and your argument that you just said would hold up the exact way you just said it. The last 2 years. Now, if you talked about hitting last year, then we know it was a fallacy because they couldn't hit last year.
All right, so let me take another at bat here.
Okay.
They don't have one pitcher that is like the guy.
Which is a positive. It's like you
would think that's a negative, but we kind of all waited around on Kevin Kopps to throw that gyro ball and strike out his 19th batter for the night. I think everybody feels like they have to do their part because not everybody's not waiting around on one person to do it all. Aloy's the closest you got to that level of player, right? Waiting on him to hit a home run, waiting on him to make a great. I mean, you just got to do what you've done to get here. I think this is in that way a more complete team. If I'm making any sense on that point.
Tom brought it up. Did you realize there was a Conway, South Carolina? Like there's a Conway. I didn't know where Coastal Carolina was based out of until I looked it up in the when they said in the regional or whatever.
Where'd you look that up at?
I think just Google. When they said it, I was like,
you didn't go to the encyclopedia?
No.
You didn't pull out the Britannica?
I saw like when they announced the Conway.
Give me the World Atlas.
It's like Conway Regional. I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's where I know it's by Myrtle Beach, but it's like, oh, I didn't know there was a Conway, South Carolina. Now I do.
So, hey, are you finding yourself in the middle of a family law matter or maybe been in a car wreck? Friend of ours here at work had a son in a car wreck over the weekend. Fortunately, okay. But, hey, if you find yourself in those matters and now you're dealing with insurance companies, medical bills, and you don't know who to turn to help you navigate it all, and you're getting bombarded with a pile of paperwork that you don't quite understand all of it and what it means, call Jackie Mock at 479-769-1505. Over 13 years of experience of dealing with divorces and family law matters, car wrecks, 18-wheeler wrecks, slip and fall accidents, insurance companies, insurance checks, wreck checks, all that. She can walk you through it and aggressively represent you. 479-769-1505. You have the Fort Smith location, also open in Sallisaw. So if you're in LaFleur or Sequoia County, Jackie can represent you there as well. Go to mocklegalsolutions.com. That's mocklegalsolutions.com or call 769-1505.
All right, so softball ends up losing to Ole Miss this weekend. Courtney Deifel on this being a special squad.
I love my job. I love this group. This group was special. They will think it's like always that group that we're going to strive to do. And obviously they won't happen again, and they all have their strengths, but this group, man, they were special.
So I was bummed watching. I didn't watch the post-game press conference until this morning at like 6 a.m. I didn't watch it when she was doing it live, but I was sitting there on my couch watching Arkansas fall to Ole Miss, and I will say that made me as angry watching an Arkansas softball team as I have in years, because I feel like I really did think they were actually do it this year. Unfortunately, first inning didn't go their way. Really, the first 4 innings didn't go their way, and they ultimately fell to Ole Miss this weekend. But I thought it was telling. I listened to Reagan Kramer talk about her baseball coach after the game, and just listened to what she had to say about Courtney Deifel.
Our relationship has grown a ton, and I usually like to joke with her and try not to make her cry too much, but she's just like that rock for everybody. She, you can go to her, and she's a great coach. And I think that, me and the team, like, I wanted it so bad for her because she deserves it.
And I've heard that because I've talked to former players say that about Dave Van Horn. It's kind of that same, and again, one's a little lesser. One team's just trying to get to Omaha, Nebraska, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and other teams trying to get to the national championship and ultimately win the dang thing. But that same, like, we're doing this for our coach. Like, we haven't gotten to this point yet as a program. We're doing everything we can. And obviously there's some individual and team goals aspect, but from the personal standpoint, it reminded me of what I've heard some players say about Dave Van Horn, their former coach, and wanting to win it for him.
Yeah. And, at the end, that's when I think magic happens, is when everybody on the team, everybody at work, everybody wants to reach the goal, not for themselves, but for the collective good, for the collective group of players, coworkers, whatever it is. That's when that magic level happens. And sometimes even that's not enough. This weekend, it wasn't enough for the softball team. But 5 years ago, guess what? We weren't even talking about super regionals. We weren't paying attention, even when good things happen. They're feeding the monster. They didn't break through to the College World Series, but they brought more people to the plate. They'll have more support to start next year than they did this year. And, eventually they're going to do it.
And the coach can get anybody she wants now. When you coach a player like Bree Ellis, who's now become one of the most popular players in sports right now that we're talking about throughout the summer, she can walk into any field in America and have her pick of the litter for the best softball player there, which will help your program at the end of the day.
Listen, I'm not going to pretend I know the ins and outs of what's going on in the softball world, but I know it's a growing sport in our state. There's going to be more players in our region moving forward. Well, now I would imagine when Courtney Deifel, like I said, comes on campus at a high school to scout a player, goes through the recruiting process, would anyone have known who the softball coach is at Arkansas 5 years ago? No, but they've built something up that now she's becoming somewhat of a household name. And as that sport continues to grow, volleyball's kind of the same way. They're becoming larger entities in our state. I think that program's got nothing but better days ahead of it. Unfortunately, it's not going to be next weekend in Oklahoma City, or this weekend rather, in Oklahoma City. That's the unfortunate part. Did you anyone get in the pool this weekend? Probably not, just because it was raining a lot of the weekend. And maybe if you have a pool, that water's off a little bit, the pH balance, the alkalinity, all those things because of the rain. Take a water sample in to Burton Pools and Spas. They have 4 locations: Fort Smith, Springdale, Greenland, and now in Hot Springs as well. They'll test your water, give you the correct advice that you need to get that water back in balance and get you ready to go for all the summer swimming ahead. Plus, they got great deals on Doughboy above-ground pools, $1,500 off on the Doughboy above-ground pools, 18-foot coastal pools, just $75 a month. And they've also got the 12 by 24 oval semi-in-ground pools starting at only $16,999. That's Burton Pools and Spas, now 4 locations: Fort Smith, Springdale, Greenland, and now on Airport Road in Hot Springs. Burton Pools and Spas. Go see them at burtonpools.com.
All right, when we return, SEC update. You will be matched up with a SEC regional, the Knoxville regional with the Tennessee Volunteers, Wake Forest Demon Deacons, Cincinnati Bearcats, and Miami of Ohio Redbirds. We'll talk more about what happened yesterday in the selection show and some other news when we return.
I think it's your girlfriend called.
Text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group, home of the Lewis Guarantee.
Brought to you by the Capital One Saver Card. With Saver, you earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, and at grocery stores. That's unlimited cash back on ordering takeout from home or unlimited cash back on tickets to concerts and games. So grab a bite, grab a seat, and earn unlimited 3% cash back with the Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Knocks down the lane, shot goes and one.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hey, it's Matt Jones. Join me, Phil, and Dr. Charles Liggett every Monday at 12:15 for my favorite segment, 3 Up, 3 Down.
A&M getting swept by Missouri. That's the worst college baseball team, or at least we played them. What I've seen of them that I've ever seen in the SEC, I mean, they almost got run ruled.
It made no sense. Charlie, it made no sense. 3 Up, 3 Down is presented by River Valley Smile Center. I'm a patient there, and you can be too. That's River Valley Smile Center. When you come here, you become family.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about. A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
I have enough trouble deciding what's for lunch. Imagine how stressed I was during the home buying process. Thankfully, Jeff Marks at Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, took the reins.
That's right, Ty. Buying or selling a home is the biggest financial decision you'll ever make. I have years of experience and proven expertise that help guide you through the process.
All my female friends love my house. I'm not kidding either.
Trust me like Ty did to guide you through every step of the way. Call me, Jeff Marks, at 479-414-1193. Big decisions, simple solutions.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. If you're looking for the best used car your money can buy, check out our great selection of road-ready certified vehicles with warranty. If you're trading or selling your car, let us give you a free second opinion and leave with a check in your hand. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center. Plus, follow us on Facebook for special offers and fun contests. All the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, Fort Smith.
Wes, how many people can a large pizza feed?
About 4.
So I should tell Cousin Jeff 1.
Oh, wow. He's a big eater.
The biggest. He once got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat diner because they ran out of food. How many can a small pizza feed?
I'd say 2.
Our small pizza at $15 is a meal for 2? We should advertise this. That goat'll hunt.
Dog.
What you call me?
That dog will hunt.
Wes, dogs are man's best friend. Goats are the true hunters.
Goats?
Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle them right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for 2 for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What you call me?
A meal for 2 for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
The SEC is the best conference in America.
The tough will survive in this game, and I feel like the SEC is the toughest.
Arkansas is the SEC champion. You know, every game is a dogfight. We're about the tough there is. Week in and week out, you're going to play some of the best, the biggest, the fastest.
The Hawks have finally climbed the hill. It's the first SEC tournament championship for Arkansas.
Where opponents' dreams come to die.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
One more regional. We head to Arkansas, Von Walker Stadium. Dave Van Horn hasn't won a national title yet. You feel like it's only a matter of time. More than 900 wins. They're hosting a regional for the 12th time, taking on North Dakota State. The Bison are in. Out of the Summit League, their 4th NCAA tournament appearance. Great fielding team. Nolan Johnson, Summit League Pitcher of the Year. Who else is there? Jays win the Big East tournament, and they are in. Ed Service, in his final year as the head coach at Creighton, gets into the field, and they will face, why not, the Kansas Jayhawks. Big 12 Coach of the Year, Dan Fitzgerald. They are into the field, went 20-10 in the Big 12, finished 2nd in the league.
So that's your setup for this weekend. Arkansas, part of 13 SEC teams to make the NCAA tournament, 8 of which are regional, 6 of which are national seeds heading into this weekend. We were just kicking around earlier. I mean, you could see at least 6 SEC teams in the College World Series. Depending on how it shakes out.
Got to play. You're going to have. We need to look and see if obviously we'll know more next week. But if you win your regionals, how many? If the SEC has success this weekend, how many are going to be guaranteed spots? I guess for the league, because the Fayetteville regional could be exactly that too if Tennessee wins theirs. So if all the top 16 seeds advance, you could have a very heavy SEC or SEC presence in Omaha.
Tom brought it up earlier. Tennessee gets paired with you, and not that Coastal Carolina has a bad program by any stretch. I mean, I think they've won one national championship, if not two. I think it's just one, but that's a really great program that has had a lot of success in South Carolina. But I think people were kind of surprised that, hey, why would Arkansas not get paired up with them? Now, Tom also mentioned Florida being in their regional, so maybe the Gators come out of that regional. But I did find that, and I know Arkansas beat Tennessee earlier this season, as you mentioned, but I did find that kind of interesting how they paired Arkansas, which I think what people perceive to be a better team, even though they've struggled lately.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at how those seedings go at 16, 15, 14, 13, does seem like Arkansas, from a name brand standpoint, drew the tougher draw, where Vanderbilt, where they should get the easiest, being the 1 seed, gets Southern Miss. Texas gets UCLA. Arkansas gets Tennessee. The question is, you look at Coastal Carolina and you think, particularly if you haven't, watched a lot of college baseball, that seems like a better draw for Auburn than the Razorbacks. Then you got Oregon, Clemson, and then you get your next SEC team at 10. So in Ole Miss. So, I can see where people might not think that's as balanced as it should be. I just know I'm glad I'm playing at home.
Yeah. The teams that aren't playing at home, again, you got 5 of them. Alabama's going Hattiesburg in Southern Miss. Mississippi State's going to Tallahassee with the Seminoles. Oklahoma's going to Chapel Hill, where Arkansas's had success. Florida's going to Conway, South Carolina, as we mentioned, with Coastal. And then Kentucky's going to Clemson. I think Florida probably has the best chance to come out of that group. Alabama's a good baseball team, and maybe they come out of Southern Miss and everything else. But I think I would probably say Florida has the best chance to come out of any of those 5 teams that are playing on the road in the SEC.
Okay. I mean, come out and go to the Super, or come out and go to Omaha?
The Super.
The Super, okay. I'd agree with that. I was kind of pairing up the regions, and if chalk held, and it won't, you're not going to have 16 home winners this weekend. But if you did, from an SEC standpoint, Ole Miss and Georgia would have to play each other. LSU, let's see, 11. They would play Clemson, so it's not as many matchups as you might think would have to be there. Maybe 3 if I'm looking at it right. So let me recalculate that. But I don't think there's going to be as many if the home team wins. Automatic SEC, like it is with Arkansas and Tennessee.
Set up there. All right, continue on your SEC update. I saw this news out of Oklahoma and the Sooners that their athletics directors has made some changes within their athletics department, as $2 million is being saved. He shaved off 5% of the staff in Norman, which I know that's happening across the country. Joe Castiglione is adjusting compensation. Again, 5% of their staff's being laid off. I'm curious. I know, Tommy, some staff members during COVID at the Arkansas Athletics department were forced
took early retirement.
Whatever. But
we don't know the details. They took early retirement.
Yeah, I'm curious if we see something like that within our Arkansas Athletics department at all.
Well,
I think
open positions aren't getting filled and haven't been for a while. I think you've got a 23 or 4. You got $20.1 million going out in revenue sharing. You got another $3 or so million going to increased scholarship numbers. Call it a $24 million deficit you got to make up. You do some of that through fundraising, some of that through additional giving, some of that through the growth of the league revenues. You do some of that through expense cutting. So, I mean, there's 2 ways to solve the problem. Go raise more money. That will cover part of it. And then also, you're going to have to cut expenses. That means open positions probably aren't going to get filled nearly as quickly as they once were in many cases.
All right, that is your SEC update here on a Tuesday.
Brought to you by WT Equipment. Spring is here, and it's going to be time to mow that grass as soon as the sun gets out and it quits raining. Time to upgrade your equipment Whether you need a powerful zero-turn mower or a hard-working utility tractor, WT Equipment has the deals that will get you rolling. Right now, the Hustler sales event's on, up to $1,700 off MSRP on select Hustler zero-turn mowers like the Raptor X. Plus, qualified buyers get 0% financing for 42 months. Don't wait. These deals end June the 30th. WT Equipment in Springdale. Other locations around the state, 479-442-8284, or go to WTEquip.com.
Shot clock at 7, drives, pulls back, drives again, stops, falls down, gets it to Williams, three-pointer. It's good. Jalen Williams with a big bucket.
So Oklahoma City defeats the Minnesota Timberwolves last night in game number 4. You've got the Knicks and Pacers in game 4 later on. Colton, how are we feeling about the Knicks bouncing back after that big game 3 win? Do they get 2 straight games for your New York Knicks?
Knicks in 7, baby. They're
Knicks
gonna
in 7,
they're gonna
not
grit
Knicks
it
in
out.
6.
Gonna grit it out.
Thunder and Knicks. All right.
Think Thunder and Knicks.
Was that the series deciding game last night with OKC going on the road and winning on the road last night?
Minnesota had a shot right there that they kind of let slip away.
Yeah, I can't see Oklahoma City
they
slipping after.
Pounded them in game 3. Mm-hmm. I mean, Oklahoma City T-Wolves couldn't miss in game 3.
Yep. Oklahoma City, again, got a huge road win. Now you can go back
3-1
to Paycom and maybe close this thing out in 5. I think one of the cool things, and I don't know if you've seen any of these videos, and I don't know if this happens in other NBA franchises, but like they got to Oklahoma City after 3 a.m. last night, and their fans there's like 100, 200 fans out there, which is really cool. And you're seeing.
Did you ever think you'd see the day where Oklahoma Sooner football was not the number one thing in that state from a sports perspective? Because that's what the Thunder have done. They have taken Sooner football and put them
that's what the Bentonville
second fiddle.
Broncos are going to do at some point.
The who?
The Bentonville Broncos are going to do. Northwest Arkansas's NFL team that's coming to town. No,
somebody's going to take you serious.
It is pretty wild.
Sooner football used to be a 367-day-a-year conversation. Well, they went overtime. And now the Thunder have stolen a lot of the conversation.
And I
They've
think
cured that affliction.
Yeah. I think part of that issue, Tommy, because what you said is accurate, but Oklahoma's not good. I don't think they're going to be good next year. Venables is on his way out. If they get that thing humming again, then I think there'll be a lot more people that are refocused on that. But when
best thing happened though, they had Durant early in that franchise, and it brought a lot of people to the table, and they've stayed there because they've been just good enough, and this year's an up year for them.
Yeah, I'll get the example that I'll bring close to home here. We're an hour and 40 minutes into this program. We hadn't mentioned Arkansas football one time, and I realize it's May the 27th and stuff, but this is, to some, it's still a 365-day conversation. And we're going to have Pete Nakos on tomorrow, who wrote that column on Sam Pittman last week. Pete's going to join us at 9:05 to give us some football conversation. But being that Arkansas baseball is in postseason, softball, unfortunately, just had a heartbreak. Carter Knox is coming back. If you haven't heard, to campus, which is good. Posted the I'm back picture, multiple reports about that as well. Saw Darius Acuff, Malik Thomas, guests on campus. Cal was in Minnesota last night watching some players on the T-Wolves and Oklahoma City. But yeah, no, your point's well made about Oklahoma football. Never thought I'd see the day where that wasn't the biggest thing in the state.
So we're down to we're midway through. We'll just say the conference finals in the NBA. You've got NHL still going on, Stanley Cup coming up. You've got college baseball postseason. You can find all the odds right there, and even football preseason odds that are available at the Oakland Sports app. You can download that now. They'll they break it out by sports real easy. Plus, if you're a new customer, you get $1,000 in bonus bets. Find out about that. And for new and existing customers, the 10% parlay boost on 3-leg parlays. So get details on that like you won't find anywhere else. It's all in the Oakland Sports app. Bet with the brand you trust anywhere in Arkansas. Bet with Oakland Sports.
So mention Carter. I'm just going down the SEC basketball conference standings from this past season. Auburn lost Baker Mazzara, Janai Broom. I want to say Cardwell graduated as well. Pettiford's still deciding. I don't think he's made an announcement yet whether he's coming back or not, but they lost a lot of pieces. Alabama lost Nelson. They lost Mark Sears. Florida lost not just Walter Clayton Jr. I think Condon. I don't think Condon's coming back, and they've lost a lot of pieces as well. You just go, Kentucky lost a ton of guys from last year. They've completely retooled their roster. Texas A&M lost their coach. Buzz Williams is now going out east. Arkansas, I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but just going down the list and from memory, Tommy, you'll have maybe one of the highest, top 3 highest returning production with Carter coming back. And if you get a dude back in this next, 36 hours, he has till tomorrow night at midnight to decide what he's going to do or not. I mean, you're going to have a lot of guys back that have played college basketball and played college basketball for Cal too.
If you get to Duke the Arrow back, and I'm not expecting that, you may be preseason number 1.
Might be.
I mean, you could be preseason number 1 team in a lot of people's estimates. So you're going to have as much, I haven't studied it, and none of us have at this point. It all hadn't settled. But who's going to have more continuity with a roster than Arkansas, at least you went through a few of the SEC teams. As far as guys that played together and played for the same coach the previous year, who could outmatch that?
Basketball's a long way away.
Yeah.
But that
here we are talking about it.
Encouraging news. I mean, when a guy of the caliber of Carter Knox comes back to your team, and a guy that was at least intrigued by some NBA teams to maybe enter that, or not just enter, but obviously go through that process, comes back to your school. I think Cal's really excited about the team. Completely different dynamics from year 1 to year 2 for John Calipari here in Fayetteville.
Talked with someone earlier this morning whose camping got rained out over the weekend, so they just went to Gaston's and got a cabin and hunkered down there in the lodge at Gaston's. Great place to be. And if you think about summer vacations and summer getaways, Gaston's is the place. 870-431-5202. Right now, it's probably not a time to really try it on your own on the White River. That's why you need one of the expert guides. So if fishing's part of your plan, that their guides know the river, know the safety, know how to handle the boats, and keep you safe even in high waters on the White River. 870-431-5202 is the number. 80 private cabins and lodges, got the pool, the fitness center, walking trails. You can watch the planes come and go, and a great restaurant that overlooks the White River as well. 870-431-5202. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time every time.
Exclusive coverage at the Fayetteville Regional, presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, Arvest Bank, and Shelter Insurance agent Chris Dooley.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better series than what we got right here.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sportsbook in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
4. This is the Morning Rush.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about. A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Budweiser, the American lager. A time-honored recipe, true to our original process, brewed using the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt, delivering great quality beer since 1876. Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Save up to $4,000 on select Buick Envisions at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Envision showcases inspired design with exclusive features in this 5-passenger SUV. Or drive the brand new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover for as low as $399 per month. These are limited time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith or online at harryrobinson.com.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
Paid for by Steel Man Pills. 800-993-1327. 800-993-1327. 800-993-1327. That's 800-993-1327.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Taco Bell's new $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes are cool because they give you options. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and the adventurous $9 box. So, yeah, choices are great. But don't sleep on how there's only 3. Perfect number. Imagine if there were, 49 choices. That's too many. Or if there were just one, get out of here. So 3 it is. You just gotta pick one. Choose your $5, $7, or $9 Lux Cravings box at Taco Bell today. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only. While supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You can pay for free.
The worldwide leader in sports.
It was her first call game with my wife, and we ended up on that field. We were in section 104.
Brother, you just turned the light bulb on. You gotta go with somebody. At least I go with a winner.
Tommy, they're great.
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
When it's a big game, our facility with our fan base and all that goes on outside the stadium, the long lines to get in the hog pen, it starts nights before, sometimes with camping out. I just have to say it's electric and you have to feel it. It started in 2004 when we got to the Super Regional. I could feel a little different.
I know Chuck's talked about that when Arkansas was able to advance and go to its first College World Series under Dave Van Horn's second year, just for Dave here in Fayetteville. When do people start lining up the hog pen, guys?
When they started letting you bring alcohol in there.
No. I'm saying when, like this week.
When
week.
did that? Okay,
Yeah.
this week.
That is true, probably.
Probably. I don't know. It depends on the weather, but probably tomorrow. Wouldn't surprise me now if Robert Mann went down there and peeked out the front of the stadium shop and saw somebody down there now getting first in line. But I'd say by tomorrow you're going to see some tents put up right near the outside the foundation office,
which is where we'll be on Friday as well. So we got a loaded weekend ahead.
Yeah. Hey, if you haven't called your county assessor, do so in Sebastian County. It's Zach Johnson, 479-784-1516. Why do I need to do that? Well, the deadline is at the end of the month to assess your property and to get your homestead tax credit, $425 on your property tax. That includes your home and up to 1 acre of land. Applications must be completed by the end of May for your 2024 property taxes. So do that now. Applies to your home and an acre of land. If you own your home and you haven't applied for the homestead tax credit, do that now. 479-784-1516 or go to sebastiancountyar.gov.
So we got a text that Chris in Fayetteville, by the way, says the line started yesterday here in the Lewis Automotive Group hotline.
Probably did.
You got like two competing thoughts this morning. Like Bill from the 870, we're talking about years past, saying, Tommy, you're exactly right. You don't base this year on last year. Yes, players should be better, but one injury, one hit, one home run can make a difference. So he's siding with you, and again, not looking at last year. Now, JT in Hot Springs is the opposite. He's saying, Tommy, they won 20-plus games the last 2 seasons and 3 of the last 4. Baum Walker is a great home field advantage until the pressure of a must-win must come from behind. Then the fans get nervous, and the nervous energy spreads throughout the entire stadium. The players, the coaches feel it, and everyone wearing Cardinal and white gets tight, waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, well, that's been the trend. So, again, I think this is a good enough team to win the whole thing.
I know something you could do this weekend is stop by and see our friends at CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers here in Fayetteville. We do it every single Tuesday, a little trivia here on a Tuesday. It's an easy one for you this morning. I was talking about earlier in the show, unaware that there was a Conway, South Carolina. That was something that was new to me until I heard them announce it on the
There's also
telecast.
a Conway Twitty as well.
Yes, there is. I do know Conway Twitty. Do know that. Easy one. Where is Creighton located? 877-377-6963. Hopefully,
it is an easy
a place that you'll eventually get to at some point this postseason. That gets you a $25 CJ Butcher Boys Burger gift card. Where are the Creighton Blue Jays located? You got North Dakota State Bison. You've got the Kansas Jayhawks in Lawrence, Kansas. And where is Creighton? Colton, who we got on line 1?
We got Doug.
Doug, where is Creighton located, man?
Fort Smith.
No, that's not.
Creighton is Omaha.
Omaha, that is correct. Hang on, we will get to you.
This
after.
was Wheel of Fortune. You'd be out. Your first attempt there.
I was. We made it through the phone signal and everything else. But again, hopefully Arkansas will get to the Emerald City here in these next postseason. Starts this weekend. Starts this Friday at 2:00. We'll have pregame coverage with Chuck and Bo, the Morning Rush, and Arkansas game day leading up to it at the Stadium Shop as well. Great place that you could stop before you go to the game is CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. Stop by and see Keith and his team at the Fayetteville location. Maybe you're coming from Central Arkansas. You could stop in at the Russellville location as well. I was talking with my dad this weekend. Anytime that he's going through Russellville, he makes sure to stop at CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. Best burgers, best fries, best shakes in all of Arkansas, and now they're doing fries in beef tallow, so they're even better. CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers, when all you do are burgers, they have to be the best. We'll talk more this week. Hopefully get a chance to talk with some good baseball analysts as Arkansas set to take on North Dakota State in the Fayetteville Regional this weekend. Halftime's next.
Need a new fence but not ready to pay all at once? The Fence Man, serving Fort Smith for over 40 years, offers 18-month financing so you can secure your home or office now and pay over time.